Brought to you by Penguin.
A Bit of Me, written and read by me, Denise Van Outen. Chapter 1. This one has been here before. This one has been here before. That's what the midwife told Mum as she handed her a new baby girl, seconds after I was born in a Basildon hospital. Just look how awake and alert she is. I wonder if she might have been right. By all accounts, I achieved all the usual baby milestones earlier than expected. I was sitting unaided at 5.5 months, crawling at 6 months, walking at 9 months, and talking in sentences at 18 months. Perhaps I'd done it all before. Or perhaps it was because I had an older brother and sister to keep up with and didn't want to get left behind. Well, I have always been quite competitive. I was a happy, contented toddler, but always on the go. As soon as there was music playing, I'd start jigging around and had a thing for spinning continuously on the spot without getting dizzy. This, I'm told, was quite fascinating to watch, and might have been an early hint at my passion for dancing, which started when I was very young. I remember my mum and dad always working incredibly hard. In fact, their commitment to work and providing for the family is probably where I get some of my drive and work ethic from. They first met in an East End pub in the summer of 1964. Mum Cathy was 17 and working as a copy typist for a Dutch pharmaceutical company in the city. My dad Ted was 3 years older than Mum, a 20-year-old lad who was working at the London Dock Wapping. They were from the same area of London, both born and bred in Stepney, which these days is known as Tower Hamlets. They married 4 years later in 1968 and rented the top part of the house from a private landlord, with another family living downstairs. I recall Mum telling me how anxious they both were because the family below them weren't the cleanest of people. This was particularly concerning when Mum became pregnant, carrying my older sister Jacqueline. One of the biggest problems was that there was only one toilet in the entire house, which they all had to share, and Mum and Dad's neighbours often left it in a terrible state. On top of that, the flat was running alive with mice. When Jacqueline was 6 months old, my parents decided enough was enough as far as their dreadful living conditions were concerned. It was time to save up for a deposit for a home of their own. This meant that Mum had to go back to work, while Dad took on an evening cleaning job as well as his regular job at the docks. It took them 1.5 years until they had enough to put down a deposit on a house in Corringham in Essex. They chose the area so Dad could transfer his job to the nearby Tilbury docks. Mum, meanwhile, kept up her 2 cleaning jobs. By the time I came on the scene, they lived in an ordinary semi-detached house in Howe Road, Corringham. Back then, it seemed like the whole of Essex was made up of ex-EastEnders who'd taken the leap and moved a bit further out of London in search of a better life and more space. My dad was a docker, and he certainly saw moving his job from the docks in the East End to Tilbury docks in Essex as a brand new beginning. Also, like many EastEnders, much of my close family lived on the same street as us. My auntie Teresa lived opposite with my cousins Sarah and Daniel, and Nanny Mary and Grandad Bill lived 6 doors down. They were my maternal grandparents. Nanny Mary pops up a fair bit in my story. She was an important part of my life and a significant influence on many of the things I did in my early career. I spent so much time at her house when I was a kid. Whenever my mum couldn't immediately locate me or my sister, Jackie, and brother Terry, she always knew where to look. We could always be found at my nan's place. It felt so comfortable and safe there. Amongst her many other talents, Nan was well known by friends and family for making the best carrot cake. Whenever we turned up at her house, she'd stick a cake in front of us, which was another excellent reason to spend time there. I also went to church with my nan most Sundays. My family are Roman Catholic. My primary school, St Joseph's, was a Roman Catholic school, and I took my first communion around the age of 8 or 9. However, the restrictions of sitting still in church were often problematic for a child who found it hard to concentrate or stay in the same spot for more than a few minutes at a time. My sister Jackie went to dance classes, taking ballet, tap and modern.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?